Our whole deal is, really establishing a long-term relationship way beyond the house. I've got clients that I'm friends with that we did their house 20 years ago. To me, that's what it's all about.
For this episode, I'm sitting down with the one and only Mark Candelaria of Candelaria Design. It's clear from the beginning that Mark takes a radically unique approach to architectural design, not just in Arizona, but around the world. We talk about how his firm blends travel, food, music, friendship, and lifestyle into the spaces his clients will eventually live in and absolutely fall in love with. Without further ado, please enjoy my conversation with Mark Candelaria. Mark, really good to see you.
You too.
Really good to be here at Candelaria Design. In preparing for this episode, I was struggling to decide on where we should start because there is so much. But when I visited the office for the first time, I realized this is where we need to start. Right?
I appreciate that. You made my day a lot easier, that's for sure.
Can you walk us through, first of all, the office is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And it's clearly been done very intentionally for the client experience.
Yes.
Can you walk us through what that initial experience is that you were designing for? What you want them to feel as they experience Candelaria for the first time?
Well, I think although our office is pretty nice, as you say, I don't want it to be intimidating. I want people to feel like they're at home. And of course, you picked our one conference room that we try to make in a kind of a high-rise building feel like a home. So we got our faux brick and our faux fireplace, and everyone comes in here for a different reason for a different style home, and we're fortunate enough to design homes in all different styles. And so my mission is just to make whatever type of house they want to do, I want them to come in here and feel like they're comfortable, and we can deliver the home they want.
Yeah, that was my experience. It is very warm and welcoming.
And we have a full kitchen back there, so
yeah, exactly.
So we try to make this whole thing a real experience.
Yeah, because the clients are coming here not just to see the updates on their plans.
Right.
You're doing events here.
Yeah, we just had a big dinner here Friday night for a client that we just broke ground on their property, and we were asked to do several renderings of several rooms. And so we had not shown them the renderings until that evening when they walked into the conference room, which is our dining room. And we had them all set up on easels, and they were just blown away. So, it's fun. We try to make the whole, if it was just about, here's your set of plans, good luck and sayonara, well, that's just not who we are. Our whole deal is, really establishing a long-term relationship way beyond the house. I've got clients that I'm friends with that we did their house 20 years ago, and I still see them and have dinner with them. To me, that's what it's all about.
Do they have any idea just how big it is working with Candelaria? When they walk in, do they understand everything that you provide and the experience that they're going to have?
Well, we obviously focus on producing the house because that's their number one priority. But we definitely go into the fact that, this is going to be a journey, and it's going to go long beyond the house, and we want you to enjoy every step of it. And if your energy is good, and if you're excited and we're excited, it's just like I tell people, architecture is like cooking, only slower. And if you're into it and you're loving it, well, guess what? The recipe tastes twice as good than if you're just cooking and just, here you go, hope you like it. So it's the same thing. It's just a different medium at a different pace.
That's a great analogy. So how did you go about orchestrating this experience? What were the lessons or learnings that you had as you brought clients to the space, saw their reactions, saw how they used the space? How did that evolve into what it is today?
Where it really evolved was from our tours. We started doing tours in 2020 or 2021, I can't remember. I had a client, I always tell this story, but we have a client that wanted to do a Tuscan house. You remember the Tuscan rage in the early
Absolutely.
2000s? And so I had just started the firm, and I said, well, let's go to Tuscany. And he looks at me like, wow, that's a great idea. That's in California somewhere, isn't it? And I said, no, it's in Italy. He goes, oh my gosh, have you ever been there? I said, I never have. If we're going to do this right, let's go to Italy. So that was really how the first tour came to be. And what I learned on those tours was how important it isn't so much where we're going, it's who you're going with and what you're doing on the trip. And one of the experiences of the trip, and we'd go to exciting places, Florence, Rome, Positano. the most memorable part of the entire trip was our cooking class in the little farmhouse we stayed at, because it was a bonding experience. And we said, you know what we need to do is and I love to cook. And so we said, we need to put a kitchen in our office and replicate that experience with our clients. And it's been one of the best things we've ever done. And clients love it and they remember it forever, So, and again, what it does is like this last Friday, we had Walter Spitz from Creative Designs and Lighting. We had invited Berghoff. We invited the team. And all of a sudden, all of these people that are working on the project not only get to spend a little time with the client, because a lot of times they don't get to spend a lot of time, but the client also gets to spend time with them as a person, not as a lighting designer, not as a landscape designer, but as a person. And that transcends itself once we go into construction. And we did the same thing with your clients. Is we had a dinner, and it's just fun. It just personalizes everybody and makes everybody, like I said, a person, not just an entity.
It seems like you set your clients up to just be open to inspiration as frequently as possible so that they can bring that into their home.
Yes.
Is that an accurate way to depict it? Is there a way, would you alter that statement in any way?
Yeah, I think what's hard is some clients really get into it and others have a hard time getting into it. And I understand why. And, it is my job to really tap into their soul. Who are they? What they're going to spend a lot of time in this house. And it's a personal space. It's your sanctuary. And it should be a reflection of who you are and what you enjoy and how you want to live life. And so we put a lot of time into that because, again, you only have one shot to get it right. And I tell clients, don't rush this process because once this house is done, it's done. You're going to live in it. And you can't change it. You can remodel things, but why go through all that torture again? So I tell them, take the time, take this year to really think about and feel what you want this house to be about. And it's been fun to watch clients kind of gradually understand that. And then they get into it and they're like, let's talk about this space and what's it going to be like. And I love to sketch and draw. So I a lot of times we'll just draw a quick doodle on a piece of paper. Said, this is the room. This is what it feels like. Here's the vaulted ceiling. And oh my gosh, I had no idea it looked like that. So quick sketches so it's spontaneous where, if you had to go and put it in CAD, it's 2 weeks. You lose that moment. So sketching has always been one of those great tools that I learned from my mentor, George Christensen, and how valuable that is just to convey a feeling immediately. It's all about the feeling in the soul. That's the important part that it is our job to get into the bricks and mortar.
I've heard you talk about this before, but you focus on your culture of the internal team as much as the relationship with the customer, and you make sure that both of those sides play together.
Yes.
So, was there a time when that wasn't happening, and did you see what wasn't working from that?
No, I've learned that really early on when I began working with George for 18 years, how important the team is and how important that energy is. And I'll use the analogy of music. It's like we're all bandmates, and it's like you pick up the guitar, I'll pick up the drums, and let's just start playing. And it's fun when you have a team of people that you can do that with, where you don't have to okay, I wonder what they're going to play. I wonder what they're going to do, and you just start doing it and it feels natural. And that was one of the fun things I had with the job I did with your father is we had such a great team. And it was, every meeting was just something that everyone looked forward to because there was so much creativity and so much fun. And there was just good spirit amongst all the players.
What are some of the common questions that clients will have? If you think about the first 20 questions that any client is going to have in their first couple meetings here, what are some of those questions? What are their concerns? What do they find important? And where do you steer them early on to start thinking about?
Yeah, so our big focus when we first start is just the various functions, the various rooms that they want. We obviously then marry that with the site. The list of functions and the list of rooms and what the site gives us is what's going to form the house. And I never have a preconceived notion of what the house is going to look like, what it's going to lay out, how it's going to work. I let it organically happen with the client. And if I have the whole team, I like the whole team to help me design the house. We design the house together. And what I love about that is everybody brings their expertise and their vision and their knowledge to the table, and it all happens simultaneously versus, I do this great sketch, I lay it on the table, and the first thing everyone's going to try to do is figure out what's wrong with it. Okay, it's just human nature. Whereas if we do it the way I just described, that doesn't happen. We just are all writing the song together. It's not my house. It's my client's house. And so I really want all the expertise of all the chefs in the kitchen to come together to form this beautiful dinner that our clients want to have.
I'm going to talk about a separate point that seems to be unrelated, but I'm going to bring it back. You've talked about how you love to run towards fear. You love to do things that you've never done before. I think the quote is your favorite project is the one you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Right? Do you bring that philosophy into the client experience and get them to start exploring areas that they may be afraid of, or they're not afraid of necessarily, but get that curiosity sparked in them?
Yeah, I try to get all of us out of the box. It becomes very easy to just kind of come into the same formula and do the same house, but I'm always trying to look at where are the opportunities to do something really different, really creative. Sometimes they're a little too far out there, but we had a project a few years ago where it was a steep site on Camelback Mountain, and we walked it, virtually had to crawl it because I couldn't walk it. I had to actually crawl on all four hands. That's how steep it was. And we finally found kind of the spot where I thought, well, here is the most beautiful view because I'm high enough that I look over this, I see this. And when we did the math, you couldn't mathematically get a driveway up there and meet the code requirement for a fire truck. It was too steep. And so we're like, well, how in the heck are we going to get up here? So we did a design where you parked and you went up an elevator. And then we finally came up with a design where we said, well, to get a longer driveway, why don't we just build the driveway in the mountain in a tunnel and then pop back out?
Wow.
And so we'll have enough run and enough rise. It just has to be inside the mountain to get it. And they went for it.
Oh, man.
So we built a tunnel it cost about $2 million to build this tunnel. And it's one of the coolest things. You drive in, and then when you drive out, you're actually facing out to the view.
You are very free-flowing in your ideas. And
I try to be.
You do bring a lot of options to your clients.
Yeah.
How do you balance with all the thousands of decisions that they have to make at this point, even before they break ground? How are you managing the anxiety around the decision fatigue and making the big decisions that will then allow for the right smaller decisions?
Again, it's one of those things where if you have the whole team, especially the builder, involved early, the client's first thing is, well, how much is the tunnel going to cost me? And they got the lot for really good deals, and he knows why, because it's like you could literally not build on it. But we figured out how to build on it. And yeah, he paid a premium for the tunnel, but now when you look at the final design and what's happened to the real estate market, he's sitting just fine, and with an incredible view. And so it's just really important to have the whole team there to evaluate those crazy ideas and do it early, because you obviously don't want to go too far down the tunnel or the rabbit hole and then find out you can't even do it. So I try to really keep the builder involved and really assess cost as we're doing these things as we go.
So let's talk about that builder relationship. I think
important.
of it as the architect, builder, interior designer.
Yep.
The three musketeers of building any home.
Yes.
How do you like to introduce those relationships? When in the process? And how do they all dance together? Yeah,
the earlier the better is what I tell people. What happens if you bring people on along the way? They're going to always want to influence the design with, hey, you brought me on. Why did you put the kitchen here? Let's move the kitchen over here. Well, we've already got this all engineered and we're already this far down the path. Now we want to flip the kitchen to the completely other side. Whereas if you bring everyone on right from the get-go, well, all that goes away. Everyone knows why you put the kitchen there and why we're going down this path. So that's just one example of why it's not good to bring people on down the road. I just find everyone works better together if you start right from the very beginning. There are instances where we'll do a quick conceptual design where they don't have a builder. And sometimes we'll do a quick conceptual design and I'll say, okay, in the 3 months or whatever I've been working with you, I've gotten to know you. I know what you want to build here. Here's 3 builders I think you should talk to, or here's a builder you should talk to, because I think you're going to resonate with this person's personality. They can obviously build what you want to build, and they meet them and off we go. Okay. Again, my ideal point would be we have everybody right out of the first meeting, but sometimes it just doesn't happen and you bring them along the way, but you still try to bring them on as early as you can.
Do people have any concerns around the builder? How often do they come to you with a builder that they want to use, or
it's about 50-50. I have a lot of clients that hire us first and use us then to help them find a builder. And I have probably as many projects where they hire the builder first and they ask the builder, well, who should we hire as an architect? So it's probably about a 50-50 split is what I see.
I want to spend a little time talking about your particular room in this office. Because when I first saw it, I realized...
You mean my personal office?
Yes.
Okay.
When I first saw it, I realized just how authentic and cathartic the experience for a client must be when they meet you. You have a 1984 Macintosh, I believe.
The first one that ever came out. I bought it like the week they started selling them.
You have...
And it still works.
I was going to ask.
It still works. It works totally fine. It's got, 128K of total memory.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's crazy. You get page 3 and it starts to, break down.
And you have your original dining room table that you started the business on.
That's my desk.
That's your desk.
Yep.
Your office, you would think, it's a typical architect's office. No. This is entirely you. And
I've got a couch so I can take my power naps.
There's so much of your character built into this office, into this space. Was this accidental? Was this trial and error?
It was organic. It just kind of happened along the way as we grew. And I guess I hoard things and don't throw things away. So I've got my old table, I got my old chairs, and they just kind of follow me around. So, but it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel, again, like I'm at home.
Do you notice clients responding in a unique way every time? Do they all respond the same way when they walk in?
Well, it's fun when I usually don't bring people back to my office. It's kind of my inner sanctum. But when I do, they're always really, I've got one of the drawings I first did in college on the wall above my drafting table that I've had since college. So it kind of way, it's story of my life, to be honest with you. I didn't even think about that, but it really is.
Yeah, no, I was blown away, and you weren't here when I took my first tour, and I just thought, wow, Mark really is here when he's not here, right? And so we know spaces can have tremendous impact on, or tremendous meaning to people, right? If you're walking into sort of a bland space or a space that just hasn't been built with intention, is your mind automatically racing towards what you would do with that space?
Well, we do a lot of remodels, and that's another area that people just don't associate with us. A lot of times they always associate us with the mega mansions, but virtually 2/3 of our work, maybe even higher than that, is remodels and additions. And I love doing them for the reason you're saying, is I walk into so many of these houses and they are just horrible. I mean, it's like, oh my God, no one put any thought into this. It's just, you walk in and you walk right into a wall, or, the window's half in, half out. And it's just like, this is, no wonder you feel so horrible every morning when you wake up. I'd feel like I'm, ready to go at like in an insane asylum. So, and then, all of a sudden we start drawing and showing how it can be changed and balanced and rooms focused in the right direction. And they're just like, oh my gosh, this house is like a totally different feeling. And so that's where I notice it the most, is when we do remodels. It's like, wow, it's just, it's amazing how much lack of effort goes into so many houses out there, and I wonder why people and kids and things are crazy.
Yeah. Is it harder to do the remodel for the clients, just to have them open up their mind to what their own home could be?
A little bit, because obviously with a new build, it's wide open. And with a remodel, it's like, you're going to do what? How are you going to do that? And so it's a lot of sketching, and a lot of times I'll do a before and after sketch to show them, or a lot of times I sketch over the photo. Like, here's the room now, and here's how it's going to look. And then I peel it off and they go, oh God, wow, that's what that can look like. And again, I love doing it right in front of them.
Yeah.
Because, if they don't like something, well, I can change it in a second. And, you're not waiting 2 weeks for the CAD guy to put it into the computer.
Yeah.
So you get that instant input and you get that instant gratification.
One of my questions was going to be, how do you build that trust so quickly? But I think you just answered that. It's the ability to show what their space can be so immediately, right? And the ideas start flowing.
Yeah, and now let's talk about AI. I mean, it's amazing what I can do with a quick photo of a room. I'll write a Candelaria-oriented prompt, and then the AI will produce the image. And then a lot of times I'll just sketch over that a few little tweaks, and they're like, holy cow, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I've been trying to tell somebody I wanted to do. And you did it in 30 seconds, So AI is, I think a lot of architects and designers and the world in general is afraid of AI, but it's just another tool that you can use to just convey what's in your head faster.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm using it. And I went through that when CAD was invented. I mean, like I said, I got the first Macintosh, and I wasn't afraid of it. I embraced it.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing. I think we just all need to figure out how to use this new tool to our advantage.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to one of your employees about asking how AI was getting implemented. But so you're doing it for the sketching.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are using it for mathematics and all that stuff. I use it for the artistic side of it, and I love it because I can create quick imagery, and sometimes it's even just composing portions of images, and then I put it all together. Like I need this vase or I need this door to be like this. Okay, let's take that door, let's put it in here. And so it's like a big jigsaw puzzle that I can get it out of my brain quick and put it together.
Yeah.
Whereas before it'd take hours and hours of rendering and drawing. And, by then you've lost the immediate response or the energy that you're in at that moment.
Obviously the convenience factor is enough, but are you also noticing improvements in creativity with it, both on your side as well as the client?
Yeah, for me, it's great because I can explore a lot of ideas really quick and rule out the ones I don't like, and then present 2 or 3 ideas to a client. Say, here's 2 or 3 ideas I came up with. Where before there'd be so much reluctance to that because to draw 3 or 4 drawings could take 3 weeks, and how much money is that? Where if I can convey 3 or 4 really cool ideas in a matter of 10 minutes, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. No brainer.
No brainer. And I've used it in the field. Well, what happens if we paint that wall blue, or what if we paint that room green? Well, let me show you. Here's a shot, and here, boom, boom, boom. And people are like, wow, you did that so fast. How did you do that? I said, AI. I said, well, we like the blue. The blue looks beautiful. Let's do blue.
Yeah.
So it's little things like that. And I'm just giving you quick, simple, examples. But I can think of hundreds of examples. Like, what if we add an awning to a window? What will that look like?
Yeah.
And will it cut the sun down? And so it's endless, to be honest with you.
Well, you've kept that childlike imagination and now have the tool to
another great
implement
tool
it.
to do it with.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did your time at CCBG.
Yes. 18 years.
18 years. You decided to do Candelaria as just something to keep you busy.
It was funny because I was talking to a young college student this morning who just wanted to interview me because he's making career choices. And I said, yeah, give me a call. I'll talk to you. And he asked me the same question. And, I worked with CCBG for 18 years. And what happened was the firm started drifting away from residential and more to commercial. And as that happened, and then George Christensen was retiring, and I go, I love doing houses. Houses is where my soul is, and that's my love. And I said, he's retiring. I'm just going to quit, and I'm going to open my own firm, and it's going to be small. I'm going to work on my little table with my Macintosh, and I'm going to hike every morning and hang out with my dogs, and I'll work on 1 or 2 houses a year, and that'll be it. That was my original vision. Okay. Well, that lasted about 6 months. And within 6 months, I probably had 10 houses that I was doing. I said, well, I got to hire some people because this is crazy. I'm not going to make it. And it just took off from there. And before I knew it, I had a staff of almost 30 people. And then 2008 came and wiped everybody out. We went down to 9 people. And fortunately, I think 5 or 6 of my people a time were women and they got pregnant, so they had to leave anyway. So God kind of worked it out for me. I think I had to lay off one person.
Oh, wow.
3 people went and started their own firms right when the crash came. 4 people or whatever got pregnant. And so like, it was like, okay, well, I didn't have to lay off one person. That was one person I wanted to lay off anyway. So it kind of worked out. But through all that, I kind of found my sweet spot of and it's virtually the same number that I like to take on my tours. It's about 16 people. And it's a good energy because people don't break into cliques and they work together well. And I found that's just kind of my sweet spot. And that handles the volume of houses I want to do. So it's kind of my formula.
Do you think you were always ready to lead a team like that? Or, I mean, you talk about wanting the quieter life, 1 to 2 houses a year, but then it transforms into this thing where, at least from my optics, you're one of the busiest men I know.
Yeah, I'm busy. I like
so those polar opposites. Did you find yourself needing to grow into that, or is that just naturally who you are?
No, in fact, as a kid, we had this big field behind our house, and this is another story I tell often. But my mom would, when we were kids, like 5, 6 years old, my mom would drag us to model homes because my dad was at the Bronco game, and she'd get bored, so she'd pile us in the car and we go look at model homes. And I'd meet with the sales guys, and they give me the whole shtick on how to, here's the house. We got these great views. We got this, rec room with a pool table and blah, blah, blah. And then I'd go home and then I would subdivide the back field. And then I'd get kids from the neighborhood and say, okay, we got to rope this off. And this is going to be a lot here. We got to build a road this way. I had roads going through the whole field. And then I would make brochures and then a Lego house of all the different houses. And then I would sell them to my relatives when they'd come stay with us. And I had we had a basement. So in the basement, I would lay out my sales room with all the models built. And then I would sell it to them for like $5 or $1, whatever it was back then. So I've been doing this forever.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's just been part of my gig since I was like 5 years old.
You seem like such a Renaissance man. Why architecture? Why that pursuit out of all of them?
I think about that all the time because there are so many things I wish I would have done or could have done. But it's the one thing that I love doing. I work probably on average 12 to 14 hours a day. And I tell people it's not work. I'm golfing. I love what I do. I'm having fun, I look at my timesheet and I go, wow, I put 16 hours in today? Yeah, but God, I had so much fun. Look at this drawing that I did. And so to me, it's really not even work, Yeah, I get tired. I mean, if you played 36 holes of golf, you'd probably be tired too, but you had a good day, right? So that's basically how it is for me. So I've been doing that for 45 years. But
you take time to decompress.
Yeah, and we travel. My wife and I travel, and Isabel has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me because she's my third wife. I finally got smart and married someone that's in the same field and works as crazy as I do, and we work together. And we travel together and we have fun together and we cook together. And so it's perfect. We both love working and playing together. Well, people always talk about life-work balance. You know what it is? It's life-work together. We found how to balance it. It's called working and living in the same thing. And everything we do has to do with work and has to do with living. It's just combined.
And you've done a great job of combining all these different passions that you have into the Candelaria business. So, and your clients are the ones that benefit most.
Yeah.
Right. They get to see.
Well, we do too. I mean, I enjoy it. Yeah. I enjoy it as much as they do.
Your clients will drive around and they'll start to notice, I like that house. I like that house. I like that house. Oh, wait, they're all Candelaria.
So I'll tell you a funny story. I just told this to somebody the other day and I'd forgotten the story. I had an instance where one client put their house up for sale, another client put their house up for sale, another client put their house up for sale, and another client put up their house up for sale. And totally unplanned, they all bought each other's house.
Oh, wow.
So it was a 4-house swap. And none of these clients knew each other. And they didn't even know, a lot of them didn't even know they were buying another Candelaria house. Some of them did, but they didn't know whose. And no one knew the whole story till after it all happened.
So some downsizing, some upsizing?
Some upsize, some downsize, some went from modern to Santa Barbara. I mean, it was crazy. Never seen anything like that before.
obviously every house you're making completely unique to the homeowner.
Yeah.
It's something you've never done. What do you keep consistent across these? Why do people looking for homes somehow pick out that the Candelaria ones have something special that they
I've
like?
tried to figure out what that is, and I've talked to a lot of realtors about what they think it is, and they always say your house has a certain feel. And I think what that feel comes from is I tend to do my room sizes, unless someone says I need a, ginormous bedroom that's, 40 by 80 or whatever. I tend to make my rooms, I've kind of developed my sweet spot for what feels comfortable to people and what scale feels appropriate. And so I tend to use that same formula for my room sizes, and same with heights. Like, you don't want a bedroom that's 40 foot tall. Maybe you do, I don't know. But I've developed kind of what that feels like, where it feels comfortable and cozy to people. And then the other thing that's really big for me is just, I'm a Libra. So I like things very balanced, very aligned. I don't like I said earlier, I don't like windows like half in the room, half out of the room. Like if I'm walking down the hall, that window needs to be perfectly centered. And as you go through my spaces, you don't really know why you feel so comfortable or what it is. It's just like that feeling. But I think it's just all the time. And we spend a lot of time aligning things as you move through the house. Everything lines up. And you'll notice that in the house that we're doing with Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look from that living room fireplace all the way to the family room fireplace, and it's on a perfect alignment.
Right.
And so it's all those little things that I think your subconscious just feels comfortable with, and you really don't know why, but that's why.
How do you tap into that? Because that's very invisible and difficult for clients to, mentally construct before they've actually seen the plans. How do you tap into that and know what they need? I mean, obviously you're designing that feeling for them. Right. And it's through a few different rules, maybe some rules you have around architecture. But,
I mean, the way we do it is again, going back, we really develop that list of rooms, list the spaces, and we put that all into a spreadsheet. And then that adds up to a total square footage. And we go, okay, with your wish list and all the rooms that you want to have here and the sizes, your 7,000 square foot house is 10,000 square feet. Are you sure that's what you want to do? Oh, no, we want to stay at 7. Okay, then we got to consolidate some spaces, or we got to get rid of something. So we do the math first and really make sure we're honing in on exactly the size of the house they want to build. Then once we have all those rooms, my process is real unique in that we make cutouts of all the rooms. And we have them all on a big table over the site plan. And we have the whole team, including the client, and we're just moving these rooms around.
That's great.
And like I said, it's just organic. We don't know how it's going to land. We know where the views are, so we chart those and say, okay, if I put the living room here, and if I angle it right there, I'm looking right at Pinnacle Peak. Okay? Is there another room you want to look at Pinnacle Peak? Or what rooms do you want to have look at Pinnacle Peak? Well, then we got to arrange those like this. And then as we start arranging them, then it's like we start working already on the alignments, just with the puzzle pieces. Okay, this will align with that. This will align with this. And we stay in that mode for quite a while. Because my theory is if we don't have the pieces in the right spot, it doesn't matter where the refrigerator goes.
Right.
We got to think macro.
Yeah.
Let's get the macro right first, and then we'll put the micro inside of it. And so it's working with all those alignments, getting everything kind of mathematically laid out on a macro level. And then we get into it on the micro level.
Do you see your clients start to build some comfortability where they start moving the rooms around? Or
that's what I love about it so much is that process usually takes about 2 hours with the whole team. And maybe you don't have the whole team at that point, but even if you do, usually within 2 hours, we have a layout with the room pieces, and the clients are excited about it. And very next meeting, we kind of turn it into a what we call a block plan, which is basically captures that in CAD with just rectangles. And they go, yep, that's where the room is. Yep. And so you build this familiarity with them, and it morphs into a plan that they're already familiar with versus laying a plan on them that they're just going to pick apart and try to figure out what's wrong with it. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yeah, of course.
So you just bring them along slowly from macro to micro versus drawing this elaborate plan, and then they don't even like half of it because you put the garage on the other side from what they were thinking or whatever the case may be.
I really like that hands-on approach so early on.
Yeah, and it's a little scary. I mean, a lot of architects like to design in their studio and on their, I'm going to give them a Mark Candelaria house, whether they like it or not, and here it is. It's not my house, it's their house. My job is to extract what it is they want to create, how they want to move through the space, how they want to live. My job is to get how they want to live onto paper, not a plan that I'm going to force them how to live into my plan.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Of course, yeah. So as they progress through their design process, how are you bringing in or introducing the tours or the cooking events, or how does that get introduced during the process?
Yeah, in fact, it just happened today. We just had a new client that we're just starting on. They were working with Isabel first, and they said, "Well, we're doing so much, we better get Mark involved." And they just texted us today, and they go, "We want to go on your Italy tour because we want to get fireplaces and doors and old things from Italy." So we had one slot left, and we were kind of a little stressed of who we were going to fill it with or if we would fill it. And boom, it just happened today. So we're really excited. So we'll take them on the tour. And I've had I had one client that we did her house in Desert Mountain. And she bought all of her doors for the entire house from Italy. And some of her fireplaces, some of her cabinets. I had a house where all the roof tiles came from Italy. So it's great. What's great about that is then the house encapsulates a story.
Oh, absolutely.
So we go there and we visit and we see the doors and go, "Oh my gosh, you remember that afternoon?" And on this particular house, her roommate decided not to go look at the doors with her because she was like, I'm not buying doors. I'm going to stay here and have a nice long bath. She made this big fire in the fireplace, virtually caught the house on fire. And the firemen had to come from the village. And she goes, "That was the best day. Those firemen were so cute." And so that story goes forever and ever. And it's just little things like that, again, they're all part of that house now.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really consider it until you said it, and it's obvious once I think about it. But by the time they build the house, they've already got memories.
Oh yeah, they have full memories. Yeah, and a lot of times, like we'll do a Santa Barbara house, and we'll say, "Well, let's go spend the weekend in Santa Barbara and capture little details here and there." And then, of course, you have a great dinner, and you remember that, and so it's again taking the time to make the house special.
When you think about the homes that achieve what they set out to create from the plans, what do they have in common? What are the clients bringing into them that help those houses be successful in the design?
Gosh, every client is so different. I mean, as your dad probably knows, every client's personality is different. Every client's needs are different. So I can't say there's an overriding formula to any of it. And so each job you have to kind of assess the situation and then almost kind of modify your base way of doing things to accommodate the way the client thinks and feels and wants their journey to go.
Let's take it from this side. How would you help a client decide, is this the right adventure for me? Right.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, everyone can benefit from it, but
right.
I'm curious if there's...
and I've had clients where I've interviewed and kind of explained my process, and, we're not interested in this. We just want a set of plans. Well, then I'm probably not your right guy. There's plenty of people that can give you a set of plans. Even Safeway's on the checkout counter has plenty of plans right there in the magazines. So part of it is just, really getting to know them and spending time with them and really just figuring out what it is they want. So it's different with every client.
Yeah.
And some clients move very fast. Some clients move exceedingly slow. And you just have to figure out what their pace is and be patient and move along with them, Yeah. And then some places, we have a lot of places where you have to go through a lot of review processes. We're doing a house in California now. It's a 3-year review process, So it takes longer to get a permit than it does to design the house. We won't go into all of that. But.
Right. Yeah. No. Where all have you designed homes for?
Across the whole country. I've designed a house in Jamaica, Cabo San Lucas, Alaska. We did a hotel garden area in Italy for a hotel in south of Florence, and houses all over the country. And it's fun because, not everything is Arizona style. So you get to do something like we just finished a house in North Carolina that was kind of a modern farmhouse, but historic nature. And it was just so much fun to work over there and with a great client. And the builder happens to be going on a wine tour next month. So there's another relationship that, you build, and that's what it's about. It's about building the relationships.
Anything that you find inspires your work as you go outside the country?
Travel. I was talking about that this morning too. Travel is the refuel of my tank. Not only just looking at architecture and the details, but just the lifestyle and the culture. And because when you think about it, your house is not just bricks and sticks and tile. It is the three-dimensional vessel that guides how you live every day, and it's just a big part of forming how your life experiences. I mean, you wake up, you sleep, you eat, you move around, you entertain with your family, but it's in this structure that influences how all those things happen, whether you like it or not. It's influencing how you live every day of your life. So why not make it amazing, And, if you're wealthy enough to afford an architect, which is a small percentage of the world, to do a custom house, why not make it the best thing you could possibly make it? You made it, make it amazing. So we've been lucky to work with people that get that and really go for it. You know?
What are those reactions like when they first step into their
it's so much fun.
Home?
I mean, it's unfortunate. I don't always get to see. I think Tony gets to see it a lot more than I do. But one of the faux clauses in my contract is I get to come cook a Candelaria dinner in your Candelaria kitchen when it's all done. And I've had a lot of clients take me up on it, actually several times, and that is so much fun.
I'll bet.
But just be in there with them and cook a dinner and just watch them enjoy the house and be a part of that.
So were your parents cooks, or did you just find it naturally on your own?
My mom is a really good cook. My dad was a good griller. So we cooked. My mom and dad cooked all the time. But where I really found the passion was in the early 80s, watching the Food Network. I would be drafting on my table and, there was nothing on sports. The news was boring, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, let's try this Food Network. What's this all about? Oh, Bobby Flay, Mario Batali. I can do this. This is pretty cool. So I just started getting into it, and then the tours happened and I saw what cooking did for that. And I made it a part of my repertoire. And it's awesome because I use my paella dinner as a means of auctioning off for charities. And on average, we get $6,000 to $8,000 for one paella dish, and we usually double it because we'll split it. And then they sell two of them, make $12,000. And what's great is now we have the dinners here. So these not clients, but these winners of the auction bring 12 of their friends, and they're having dinner in our conference room, seeing all our renderings, all our propaganda on the TV, and we get work from it. So not only are we helping a great charity, but we're getting some great exposure for people we would have never met any other way. So it's a win-win.
And speaking of charity, you've been on the board of Habitat for Humanity of Central Arizona.
Yeah.
At least a handful of years.
Yeah, I think I'm coming up on like 10 years.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. How did you get involved with them?
I had a friend that actually introduced me to them and said, "Hey, you need to get Mark on your board. He'd be a great addition." And everyone knows about Habitat for Humanity, but I didn't really realize what an amazing organization it is and how well run they are. And once I got on the board, I'm like, I could never leave this. I mean, I think there are term limits, but yeah, we did the first 3D printed house with them.
Yeah.
I'm very involved. It's just what they do and how they do it and how not frugal, but just how well they manage the money is incredible. So, I mean, there's a lot of charities where I just like, oh gosh, I mean, they spend more on their gala than they do helping the family that it's supposed to go for. And that doesn't happen with Habitat. They are really well run.
So in 2022, you design the first home to be 3D printed in up to code in the
code
US.
And permitted. And inhabited by real people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that experience?
It was interesting because we designed the house during COVID. And so everything was done virtually, basically on Zoom.
Wow.
And the 3D printed company was in Germany. So we were working with a German company. And then they were trying to logistically bring the 3D printer here during COVID. It was crazy what we went through to get this house done. But we worked directly with Tempe because if you look in the code, there's nothing about 3D printed code requirements. There was nothing in the code about what you have to do to make a code compliant 3D printed house. So Tempe's like, well, I guess we can permit this, but I don't know how we're going to do it. And so we had meetings with them. Virtually every week we met with them as we developed the building, and we worked with PH Structural, Dominic Petrocelli. And I think they virtually now can write a building code based on our 3D printed house and how to do it. So we got it permitted and built, and we learned a lot building in July with 3D printed concrete that it cured too fast, and we had to burlap wrap it, and we had to tear walls down and redo them. So it was a learning process, learning curve, but it was really cool. And again, part of Habitat involves hands-on involvement from the end home user. So they were out there while we were doing all this 3D printing, and I got to cook for them in the 3D printed house on the 3D printed island. And that was pretty cool.
Wow. A lot of firsts in that.
Yeah, a lot of firsts. And they still live in there, and they love it. They love the house.
So from a builder's perspective, this is insane to me that you could accomplish this, especially with the added constraint of what COVID brought.
Yeah.
But based on how you describe this doesn't sound like an isolated thing. Do you see a future where...
Yeah, I know Lennar Homes. I know there's a lot of big home companies that are starting to do more 3D printing. And again, we learned so much from it that we could probably do it again. And we're constantly exploring options of that with Habitat. That's part of our mission, is to always look for and explore new building methods and materials and systems.
Any innovations you think are coming around the corner that...
Gosh, I don't know. I think the 3D printing has a lot of potential for sure. And then there's so many great new wall systems and things like that are amazing. I think our biggest problem with Habitat right now is land. The cost of land has gone so that we're, instead of single family houses, we're having to do more multifamily houses to get more people onto more expensive land. Mm-hmm. So our building type is having to change in order to get people into their first house.
So this is 25 years of Candelaria Design.
Yep. It would be 20. We're 26. 26 years.
Okay. Yep. 26 years. What do you see as the future of Candelaria Design?
Well, I'm not getting any younger. So, I've got two partners. Tim Mathewson is one of my partners, and he's been with me over 20 years. And he is a architect. And then Evelyn is been running my firm for over 20 years too. So the two of them have been with me for a long ride. And my hope is to keep going as long as I can. I love what I do. But I've got a great crew of young people here now that I just love. They're like probably one of the best crews I've ever had. They are learning so fast. They work so hard. I'm shocked to see people sending me emails at 3 a.m. I haven't seen that in a few years, and this group does. And I'm like, wow, okay, I got some worker bees here. Haven't seen that in a while. So I kind of see this great work ethic that I haven't seen in several years, and all of a sudden it's like right under my roof, which I love. And it's not like I want to work everyone to death, but I can tell they love what they do, and they love what they're learning. And just the enthusiasm and the energy I love that. I love being around that. So I hope we keep designing wonderful houses. We got a couple cool resort projects in the works right now, one in Utah and one in Mesa. And so I've always loved, I got to work on Enchantment and Sedona and Castle Hot Springs. So in El Charro here in Paradise Valley. So those projects are always fun because they're just like big homes.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time. So I think it's pretty obvious where people can find you. What I would instead ask is, where do you recommend people start?
We have a great website. So check out our website. Everything's on there. Our podcast is on there. Our tours are on there. We're on Instagram quite a bit. We love showing what we're doing and what's going on, from cooking to houses to everything, our tours. So we're easy to find. Google us. We're all over the place.
All right. Well, Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been wonderful.
Yeah, well, it's been great collaborating with your firm. I love it. I love your father. And I just hope we get to do more, because I think both of our clients would benefit greatly.
Oh, yeah. No, we love it. So we appreciate everything that you've done. We appreciate the mutual project we have. And yeah, we're excited to show that one as soon as it's ready.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. It is one of my favorite houses of all time. And the clients have become great friends. And that's what it's all about. I mean, it's so rewarding.
Yeah. No, I'm there every other week.
Yeah.
Filming updates, and every time.
Well, we're coming to the exciting part now.
Yeah.
It's like it's all coming together, and it's just every time I go out there, it's like you said, God, it's just, I walk out of there and go, this is amazing.
Yeah. And the view seems to get better every time.
It's amazing.
Well, Mark, thank you so much.
You.
This has been wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you.